Well guys, I think this is the power supply. Now I bought this one only because of the price. Is it one of the best ones in the world? No. Would this be something that I would buy if I was going to be using it all the time? No. This is one that's going to supply the amperage that I need for the small times that I'll be using it. Basically right now I want to use it to test this radio box that I'm putting together. And seeing that my battery's all crapped out and I have no more backup in solar or wind turbine, I needed some type of a power supply. I wanted to get at least a 20 amp, if not bigger, alright? Something that was going to be regulated between maybe 9 to 15, 16 volts. And if I had bought something in that I was going to use continuously, which I'm probably going to have to buy one eventually, because I will be putting a unit up. Once I get an HF rig and put it in the house, and have a shack sort of set up, I will have to get a different power supply. And at that point I'll end up getting one of the better ones. Now the difference being is one is called a linear, alright, which has a transformer, and the other one is switching. The switchings are real light. This thing here probably weighs about 4 or 5 pounds. Where if I was, and it's small as you can see, if I was to buy one of these in a linear type like an Astron or something like that, it would weigh probably 15, 18 pounds, be twice the size. But it would be more of a continuous duty type power supply. And like I say, because I'm just bought this one for some little testing out here, it's not going to be one that's going to be running continuously. This works. This one I think cost me 70 bucks, where the other one's 200 bucks. You follow? Now again, eventually I'll be buying one of the other ones, but for now I just want to get something in here. That's if this is it. Just get something in here so that I have something to do some testing with. Now, got a lot of newspaper. Excuse me. However, I didn't see a receipt, but I have it on the computer. So this is basically what it is. What is it, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It's a very small power supply that supposedly packs a lot of punch. Now also, if you're a type of guy that wants to have big is better, well, then you're also going to want to have a linear power supply over a switchable power supply. Because the linear power supply would, for this size, if I bought one in a linear type power supply to do everything that this does, I'd be able to stand this on end and probably stack them out 12, 15, 18 inches. Alright? But as you can see, this is a very small air-cooled power supply. And again, this is going to work. I hope. But at that point, it's not one that I would want to have running continuously with a strain on it, especially 30 amp or 25 amp or even a 20 amp strain. I wouldn't want to run it continuously like you would normally do. I wouldn't want to have it as a power supply, as a bench type power supply for testing things continuously. This would actually work good for the money because of what it is. If you were to buy it to like run, if you wanted to repair like a car stereo or even a CB, you know, this would probably run just fine forever. But if I was to run it hard, it would blow up quick. So, but anyway, what it is, it's 110, 115 volt. It gives me, let me see here. For best charging, it charges 12 to 13.8. 12 volt positive, 12 volt negative. It has a lighting indicator. It has a voltage adjustment, which you don't see, but there's a little voltage adjustment right there. Now you're not going to want to start twisting that unless you have a good meter on it. Digital meter is usually the best. And it comes with a cord to plug it into the wall with, which will tap onto these screws here. So like I say, it's relatively cheaply made, but it's what it is, right? And it's going to work for what I need it for. Again, if you were going to be running anything heavy duty on this, I would not recommend this. Now, let me see. What do we have here? Got the hertz, frequency hertz. All this stuff is electronic part that doesn't really make too much of a difference. It's supposedly filtered. It's regulated. It's got a it's also voltage regulated. I want to see. It's telling me that it does 30 amps, 90%, 36 amps at 90% capacity, 30 amps at 100%. So it's telling me at 100% duty cycle, it should give me at least 30 amps. When you first turn it on, it should surge like a 36 amp type thing. But I would never run this as a 30 amp power supply. 0 to 36 amps, 10. The voltage current at 30 amps is 10 to 13.8 volts, which is fine. 10 to 13.8, and it actually goes from there from 13.8 up to 16.2, and that depends on what I hook up to as to the variable pot. So all in all, it's in. It's going to do what I want it to do, so I'm happy with it. If it works, I'm happy with it. I know it'll work to do what I want it to do if it works. That's what I mean. So that's what we have. We have ourselves a little switching power supply. If you want to get a good power supply, what we used to sell a lot of when I had my shop, and what I used to use was the Astrons, or the Antrons. Astrons, yes. Antron is an antenna. You know, and you get 30 amp, 50 amp, you know, 75, 100 amp, you know, as long as it's linear, meaning it's got a power supply in it, you're going to have something decent, and it's going to have some weight to it, you know, so that's a good way of kind of figuring out what it is, if it doesn't say. Look at the weight, because these here, like I say, that's probably about a pound. All right. If that was a so-called linear, it'd be bigger. But if you couldn't judge the actual picture because it didn't give you anything to justify the picture or to judge it against, look at the shipping weight or the weight of the unit. Because if that was a 35 amp Antron, it would probably be 8, 10, 12 pounds or better. So, all right? All right.